Hey, it's me, back with another thrift store makeover using an item that I didn't get from a thrift store. Let me explain. Quick story. A while back, I went thrift shopping. Where's the reenactment for that? Okay, there we go. And as I was just looking around, I spotted this old-looking suitcase. It was love at first sight.
I've never known a love so steady.
I was just so excited, like all the possibilities. So immediately I grabbed it, marched straight up to the front to pay for it. But then the lady was like, oh, actually, this isn't for sale. It was just up there for decoration. So yeah. Blinded by my love and excitement, I completely missed the very obvious not for sale label. So then I felt really stupid and really disappointed. It was a bad 30 seconds. In my defense though, why a thrift store would just plant really cool items among the rest of the merchandise? Why would you do that? We don't need decoration here. It's a thrift store. It's a bunch of used crap thrown on shelves. That's how we like it. But anyway, about a week later, I went on eBay to see if I could find anything similar, and lo and behold, it's actually not hard at all to find an old suitcase. So I bought one on eBay for 15 bucks and it's here. So that's what I'm gonna be decorating today. Was it necessary to tell you the whole backstory? I'm gonna go get the suitcase. Woo, okay. Here it is. Ooh. Very musty smelling, very dirty, and very, oh gosh. The grime in the crevices is disgusting. But just look at the potential, okay? Look at this huge canvas. This is what the inside looks like. What is that? Oh. It stank. It stank real bad. So I'm gonna attempt to clean this up, fix it up, and obviously paint on it. Let's get to it. So the suitcase. As I mentioned, it's pretty much filthy. Not sure what year this is from. The listing just said old. It's currently an orangey kind of brown color. Pretty neutral and classic. We'll fix that. The inside is a bright red with some little creepies. I don't know what that is exactly, so I'll assume that it's gross. I'm very tentatively checking out all the little side pockets. Sorry, the suitcase closed on me. It comes with this nifty little pouch with the plastic liner that's like ripped and rotting. Gross. What you can't appreciate here is the fantastic odor. It's not like I'm gonna be using this regularly. It's most likely gonna be just for decoration. Oh no, it's another decorative suitcase. But it would still be nice not to have to smell death every time I get near it. A friend of mine told me I should try watered down alcohol to get rid of the smell, so I gave a few sprays of that and left it out in the sun. Oh, yeah, that's the sun. Look at it. And as soon as that dried up, I came back and no, this isn't a filter. It was just extremely humid out. Phase 2 of de-smellification. I'm just gonna pour a buttload of baking soda over it. Oh my gosh, the fog. You can't even see what's happening. You're supposed to leave the baking soda in there for 24 hours, so I left it out for a couple hours. Chop chop, let's get unsmelly quick so that I can get to the fun part. Brushed all of that baking soda off. It was actually a huge pain in the butt. Baking soda in all the crevices. But good news, the smell, it was almost completely gone. I know it wasn't bothering you in the first place, but trust me, this is big. Speaking of big, now is where I realized that the suitcase is too big for my filming setup. Oh boy. Wonderful. For the outside, I'm just wiping this down with some all-purpose cleaner, and the paper towel doesn't lie. This was filthy. Trying to get into those crevices, because that's where the true terror lives. You can see it's just like years of built up grime developed into a disgusting kind of fur. Where's my hand sanitizer? I'm getting flashbacks. Oh, that smells so good. Vanilla berry sorbet. Now I'm taking some metal cleaner. What happened in there? An earthquake? And I'm trying to clean up the metal. I'm making an effort, okay? The back hinges in particular, they're just totally scratched to pieces. Rusted? Is that what that is? Is that rust? After working on this for a while, I kind of realized that's hard, okay? I just did not care about it enough, so I'm just gonna do the bare minimum and let it go. Okay, so now the thing is cleaned. Good. I'm grabbing my gesso. This makes my massive massive container of gesso look
tiny.
I'm using my big brush today, which doesn't actually get used except for thumbnails. Here we go, painting on the gesso. I think this may be the largest thing I've ever painted on. There was something fun about making these massive brush strokes. In case you didn't know, gesso is just used basically as a primer just to help the paint stick better and prevent us from having to apply a million coats of paint. It's a little bit of a mystery to me, but I use it. I'm going to be painting every inch of this suitcase, so I had to gesso every inch of this suitcase. Here I am creeping down the sides and getting into every miserable cranny. And you see that? You see how I'm getting paint all over the metal? All of that needs to be cleaned up eventually. Just look at this area around the handle. What a freaking mess. The cleanup was just a disaster. I'm gonna do you a favor and edit out most of that because trust me, nobody wants to relive all of that, especially not me. I did discover a straight up hole. Just a hole. This is what $15 gets you nowadays. No, I'm just kidding. $15 is extremely cheap for a piece of luggage. Time to flip it over. Oh boy. Wow, are you all right there?
That means yes.
Here's where I decided to turn gessoing into this experience.
Fingers down my side. Girl, you look mighty fine. Won't you rub your fingers down my side?
I'm done with gessoing now. Can we move on? So far, this video has been a whole bunch of me complaining and whining, but that's because you know what I'm here for? I'm here for the creativity. And this, not really feeding my creativity much. But oh, this big boy needed so much prep work before we could even sniff a Posca pen. Yep, that was a weird way of putting it. I think I'm talking to my own memes now. Oh, look at that, right over the brand. And the suitcase has been completely gessoed. So it gets a little bit more exciting now. First, I have to scrape out this dried varnish.
That sounds exciting.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be painting this whole suitcase one base color, and then I'll add the details on top. So we need a lot of paint.
Oh, look at that.
All right, put that away. And I'm adding some red and a touch of blue to create a kind of muted bubblegum pink. That's a little too muted. Throw some magenta in there. Come on. Wake up and mix that in. I was very pleased with how well the paint stuck to this surface. I was a little bit worried that it was going to be kind of chipping and peeling as I bumbled around with this. It does have like a nice kind of almost canvas-like texture to it, so that helps. And maybe we can give the gesso some credit as well. Time for the other side. Here comes a wave. Now we're going green, which may seem like a slightly odd choice. It'll make a little bit more sense later when you see what I paint on the front of the suitcase. It looks like paint is shooting out of my finger. It's like Spider-Man, but with paint.
No.
This is the color that I'm looking for. Swim in that for a second. This green is going to go on the side panel like the ice cream in an ice cream sandwich. Side note that you definitely don't care about, the color correcting that was necessary for this footage was awful. This was what the raw footage looked like. Ew. I always have to color correct my footage, but I swear every piece of this footage needed severe color correcting. Anyway, you're bored.
Yeah, I am.
Here's where we are now, and I'm gonna take this a step further. I'm taping off these seams. I wanted to paint them a different color without making a mess. I'm going with a dark greenish turquoise. I kind of regret taping this off though, because I relied really heavily on the tape, and the tape honestly didn't do that great of a job. I mean, it looks like it would, right? Yeah, no. I also painted the handle in this color, and I let that dry. Hi there. Time to pull off the tape. A small bit of fun in a way, but also at the same time, truly devastating as I watched the mess underneath being revealed. You may think it's dramatic to call this and that a devastating mess. All of these little areas add up. The touch-ups on this were like nothing I've ever experienced. So many touch-ups.
Oh my gosh.
And at last, we can leave all of that behind and get into the actual fun part, you know, this. To plan this out, I'm actually getting out my iPad. Oh, just doing the facial recognition there. That looks dumb. And I'm going into the app Procreate, and I'm just inserting a picture. Oh, don't look at my camera roll. You'll see all my secret life of just wildness. I'm grabbing this picture of the suitcase that I took before I painted it, and whoop, This iPad is actually brand new. I just got it. I've never had an iPad in my life, but I've been dying to try this app for years, and I've been basically obsessed with it for the past couple weeks. I've already done like 8 or so drawings. Here's a look at my gallery, except not really, because I've been posting them one by one on Instagram, so if you want to see them, you'll have to go there. I will explain in detail the whole backstory of this image, but for now, I'm gonna move into the real thing. So I was just using my digital sketch kind of as a reference. Fun fact, I kind of hate myself every time I say fun fact, but I just keep on saying it. Fun fact! I was standing up for the majority of this process because the surface of the suitcase was up so high, I couldn't see the top of it very well while I was sitting, so I had to stand up so that I could like really get a better view over top of it. Even still, my perspective was really warped, so I actually took it to the floor to try to fix up the sketch the best I could. I'm finally doing what I wanted to do here. This is what I was looking forward to. This is what I was thinking about when I initially fell in love with that old suitcase. I had no clue that just cleaning it up and painting the rest of the suitcase was gonna take so long and be so intensive of a process. I spent 2 days just getting to this point, but now I was really excited about it and really enjoying this. And it may look really simple and like I just threw it together, but I thought about this idea for months before coming up with this design. Initially, I wanted to do a big collection of fat desserts, you know? There would be glossy drips and sprinkles and juicy highlights and but I kind of wanted to do something with some of my original characters, and that's when this idea was born, because it was a way to include desserts and my characters. So if you don't recognize these characters, I designed all of them as squishies originally. On this side, we have Shelly and Eustace, who are dessert-themed cats, and they have a complicated relationship. And then over here, we have Pickle and Cousin Derp, who are both dinosaurs, and they are cousins. It's story time! So in this scene, there's an occasion for costumes. Maybe it's a costume party that they've all been invited to. You know, it's probably this little dork. He's having a costume party at his house so that he can feel more normal about never taking that freaking bunny costume off. That's between him and his therapist. So these 4 have decided as a group, let's all dress up as each other. So Shelly is wearing a pickle costume and Eustace is wearing a derp costume, and that's all good. But then here's where things go wrong. I guess.
What? I don't get it.
Cousin Derp was in charge of securing costumes for himself and Pickle. So basically, Derp told Pickle that all they have to do is put ice cream and frosting on top of their heads, since Eustace and Shelly are cupcake and ice cream themed, and that's gonna be their costume. Clearly, he's just hungry. I will fix that later, don't worry. He's only thinking about food because that's what Cousin Derp does. But Pickle is too naive, so he just goes along with it. Wow, have I put too much thought into this? I was putting this whole narrative together in my head while I was painting. I was painting for a long time, okay? Anyway, this is the moment where they all come together and Shelly sees what they've done and she's just not happy about it. I mean, she stayed up all night hand stitching these custom costumes, and then she walks in to find Derp and Pickle swimming in desserts, and she's like, wow, I'm surrounded by idiots. And then Pickle looks up at Derp and finally puts 2 and 2 together. This is the face of someone who's been bamboozled. Meanwhile, Cousin Derp is just having a blast, probably already consumed several quarts of ice cream, and Eustace, well, he's just being creepy as usual. So that's the story. Is it embarrassing to me how in-depth I've worked this story out? Yes, it is. A little bit. A little bit. But there it is, and I've put it out there. So I hope you enjoyed it. I fussed over this painting a lot off camera because I knew I already had so much footage to edit through, so I didn't record everything. But this is where I am finally finished, and I just applied a nice glaze over the entire thing to protect my design. And here it is. Wow. This was the largest project I've done in a long time. This took absolutely forever. Typical disclaimer, I know that it's not perfect, but I am gonna focus on the positive here because overall, I'm really happy with it. I put my heart and soul into this one, okay? And it just makes me really happy to see it finally finished and see how it came together. I'm really excited to display this, so I hope you guys love it as much as I do, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!